Competitive Magic the Gathering is fun and exciting and challenging, but it can also be quite intimidating. You may find yourself asking questions like, what are all these different formats? What is an RCQ? How do I get ready for my first tournament? These are totally fair and reasonable questions. It's complicated. But don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll have answers to all these questions, and you'll be excited and ready to play your first match of competitive MTG. Before we get into tournament structure, let's talk about the different ways to play. There are dozens of different Magic formats, but the ones that are relevant to the tournaments we're talking about are Standard, Pioneer, Modern, and Limited. The first of these formats we're going to talk about is Limited. Limited is named as such because of its limited card pool. When you sit down to play a game of Limited, you're either going to be playing Draft or Sealed. In Draft, you pass packs around a table, taking one card at a time until you've gone through 3 packs. You use these cards to build your deck. In Sealed, you open 6 packs by yourself and you use all of those cards to build your deck. You may recognize Sealed if you've ever played in a pre-release event. The rest of the formats we'll talk about are all 60 card constructed formats. Constructed means you build your deck on your own at home from your collection before the event, and 60 card refers to the minimum deck size. Now, you are also allowed to include a 15 card sideboard, which you are allowed to swap cards in and out of your deck with between games. First, let's talk about Standard. The big differences between all of the constructed formats is which cards are legal in which formats. Of all of them, Standard has the smallest card pool. This is because every 3 years Standard rotates, which means that the older sets become illegal to play. As of right now, the oldest legal set to play in Standard is Dominaria United, which was released about 2 years ago in 2022. Pioneer is the next format on our list, and it has a much wider card pool than Standard. Pioneer includes all the cards that are legal in Standard, plus cards going all the way back to Return to Ravnica, which was printed in 2012. Then we have Modern, which has the widest card pool of all 3 of these. It includes cards that are legal in Standard and cards that are legal in Pioneer, plus cards going all the way back to 8th edition, which was printed in 2003. So now that we know the different competitive formats, let's talk a little bit about tournament structure. The first step on your competitive Magic career is going to be to participate in a Regional Championship Qualifier, or RCQ. RCQs are tournaments that happen somewhat frequently at your local game store, and if you win one, you qualify for the Regional Championships, or the RC. The RC is a much bigger tournament, often having 1,000 or more players in it, taking place only a few times a year. But if you do well in the RC, not only can you win a lot of money, you can also win an invite to the Pro Tour, or the World Championship. The Pro Tour is basically the highest level of competitive play you can hope to reach. It is hosted just a few times a year, usually at big Magic conventions, and has high quality professional coverage and commentary put on by Wizards of the Coast. Now, signing up for your first RCQ is simple. The first step is you just have to find one that's taking place near you. You can do this by either calling your local game store and asking them when the next one is, or you can search online using sites like SpiceRack. Once you know when and where your RCQ is, you simply have to call that game store or go in person to sign up for the RCQ. Once you've signed up for your first RCQ, there are some things you're going to need to know to get ready for your first event. First and foremost, arrive early. You're going to want to get there at least 30 minutes before the event starts. This gives you time to get everything squared away, make sure you're signed up, and just get you ready to play Magic. A big thing that you want to remember is food and water. Magic tournaments take a long time, and there's no guarantee that you'll have time between rounds to go get food. I like to bring a water bottle and some protein bars, and sometimes I'll even pack a lunch that I'll eat between matches. You just want to make sure that you are hydrated, rested, and well fed. Before the event, you're going to need to get your deck prepared. You're going to want to get your deck sleeved and make sure that your sleeves aren't marked. When you use sleeves over and over, eventually they will wear out, and the various wear patterns can make your cards marked. This just means that you can tell what a card is by looking at the back of the sleeve. You can get in trouble for this at the tournament, so it is best to just sleeve up with new sleeves if your sleeves are worn out. You'll also need to prepare a deck list. This is just a list of all the cards in your deck and sideboard. A deck list is necessary to verify that you are not changing your deck any between rounds during the tournament. You can write this list out in paper, or you can type it and print it ahead of time. There are links down below to empty deck lists, or you can do what I do, which is build your deck in Moxfield, and they have a handy Get Deck Registration feature which automatically takes your deck and makes a printable form of it. You're going to want to get dice and your deck box and any relevant tokens for your deck ready ahead of time. Personally, I really like to use Heavy Play Products, who is the sponsor of this video, because they have a very nice deck box and dice box, and they magnetize together, which I really like. And both of these magnetize to the playmat, which folds out. Bring a way to keep track of life. I recommend using a pen and paper for this because you can keep track of every individual change of life in ways that a spin down die or other life tracking means can't. Sometimes it can be helpful to bring a sideboard guide. This is a piece of paper that just reminds you what cards to bring out of or into your deck for certain matchups. If you're going to be bringing a sideboard guide, you should bring one that is in paper, not one that is on your phone. Once you're actually at the event, find the judges. You can do this by asking a store employee who is judging the event, and they should be able to point you right to them. Judges are there to settle rules disagreements, but they are also there to help you if you have any questions. If you're ever unsure about something that is happening in your game, just raise your hand in the air and yell for a judge. They will come swiftly and help you out. You can even ask to speak to a judge in private if that is more comfortable. Hopefully this makes you feel more confident and ready to take down your first Magic the Gathering tournament. Personally, I love competitive Magic because I love the feeling of improving. Magic is an extremely hard and complicated game, which leaves tons of room to grow and improve and optimize your play. I find the process of studying, practicing, and watching myself improve over time to be intoxicating. Maybe you will too. Alright, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like, a comment, or subscribe. All of these things do a ton to help me. I want to give a huge shout out to my good friend and Pro Tour judge, Elliot Raff, for helping me with the research of this video. Also, a thank you for our sponsors of this video, Heavy Play and Moxfield. You can find links to both of them down below, and if you are buying any products from Heavy Play, be sure to use code NILE at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Thanks for watching, have a great day. LOL, lots of love!